Hey everyone, so here on the screen I want to talk about this comment in relationship to Acts 3:20 and the doctrine of a so-called refreshing of a covenant, namely Horeb. Well, first of all, if we're going to base doctrine on a refreshing of a covenant, shouldn't we identify covenants in the Word of God? Because in the Epistle of Acts, we only see two occurrences of the word covenant. A few verses later, in verse 25, you are the sons of the prophets and of the covenant which God covenanted toward, pros, with a view to the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Where then in Deuteronomy chapter 5, the covenant on the Horeb was not with our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Which now brings us to Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 1, where this covenant mentioned twice here is apart from Horeb. So this word apart in Hebrew means separate, alone, by itself, which we could call the Moab covenant. And what is the purpose of this covenant? Well, this is seen in verse 12. So that he may confirm you this day to himself. To who? To your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the covenant of promise. So the word covenant here and here is also apart from Horeb. So again, when we come back to Acts chapter 3, verse 25 and the covenant, well, the preposition pros here governs with a view toward something, which is a view toward Abraham and your seed, the seed of the faithing ones, which the law was not out of faith. Which now brings us back to verse 20 in the context of refreshment here, refreshing, which this word is in the same word family as cool. So here the word cool, as I'll show you later, is in the same Greek word family as refreshing, which we see is in relationship to a reward. Which now brings us to Romans chapter 4. For if Abraham was justified out of works of the law, he has cause to boast in the law of self-righteousness. Watch my previous 3 videos. But not towards God, for what says the writ? But Abraham faith God, hence Genesis 15:6. And it was reckoned to him for righteousness, justification. But to the working one in the law, the reward is not reckoned according to grace, but according to debt. So the righteousness, according to the cool drink and a reward, is not referring to the law of righteousness, a law of righteousness. The reward here is according to the gift of righteousness in relationship to cool, water. This word is in the same word family as refreshing, G403. The stem here of this word, refreshing, is the same word here. So this is the relationship of the refreshing. And let me also point out that the name Horeb means dryness, desolate, desert. So we're not going to Horeb for cool refreshment. The context of refreshing to any covenant would be Abraham covenant. Again, just a few verses later. Again, which Horeb was not with our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the point is that this word refreshing, only found in this one verse, by the way, corresponds to a reward, righteousness, that is not out of the law of Moses. It's out of the faith of Abraham.